Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Just a real quick update on this afternoon. We have got a pretty interesting situation developing. Winter storm watches have been hoisted over the area. You've got runs like the afternoon NAM that are just literally exploding with snow here. And then you got runs like the Euro that are saying, I'm not really feeling it. We've got a mess on our hands and we don't have overly great data, but let me just go over briefly what we do know. First off, high confidence that we're going to have winter weather of some sort. High confidence that we're going to have snow of some sort. Not really sold on the big snows yet. There's not enough data pointing to that direction. So let's start a timing out just very briefly. Give you an idea. We develop rain tomorrow afternoon, and then we transition and we transition on Thursday night into the early morning hours of Friday into what could be some freezing rain and then sleet across the area. And then we go from that into what could be some potential heavy snow across the area. This was the NAM model. Let me take you over to the Canadian model as well, since it's been one of the more consistent ones, and just sort of give you an idea of what to expect with that there. I think this is a more reasonable idea. Rain breaks out tomorrow afternoon, and then there you see by early in the overnight hours here, by about, let's say about 4 a.m. in the morning time, you're starting to see this mix starting to change over in here into freezing rain and sleet sort of across the area. And then after that, we stay in it for a good little while before we start to transition over to snow later on in that afternoon. And that could lead to some fairly significant icing accumulations there as well, if we just look at what the Canadian here thoughts is taking you on the freezing rain potential. You can see as you go, here's by about 1 a.m., and then here you go by about 4 a.m., and then finally by the time you go to 7 a.m., freezing rain over a good chunk of the area, and then it just sort of advances through the day beyond that. And then, of course, behind that, you get this on the Canadian model for some snow. So a pretty good swath of snow accumulating here over a good chunk of the region, and pretty much everybody here gets some snow out of this, almost a couple of inches or snow or more out of this, but some people get closer to 5, 6, even some 7-inch spots in here as well. This is a pretty healthy deal of snow with it up there. GFS this morning was not far behind on that idea. It's trended juicier with each run, and I expect that trend to continue as well. And you can see the placement not too far off from what the Canadian was, but again, I think those totals may beef up a little bit there as well. The Euro is the one, or excuse me, the NAM is the one that is the juiciest with totals. And let's just be honest with you, folks, 15, 17 inches here, 12, 15 inches, that's just almost unrealistic. Whenever you see high totals like that and no other model is showing it, you have to look at it and go, I don't know about that. Well, in going in its favor, it is high-res data. So is it picking up on a trend? Well, let's see what the evening NAM does this evening. All right. If we're still showing these high trends in this same relative position, great. Let's take a look at it. But the problem is that we haven't had these snows be consistent enough. Let me just sort of pull this over here and show you. So here is this particular run of it, but here was one run prior. Well, one run prior had it in the same general direction, but it was certainly less beefy. And then the run prior to that, there you go. So you've got some history of it being kind of beefy like this, but it's sort of waffling on the track, where right now it has it centered more over southern Indiana, and it had it centered more into the Kentucky area here, and just barely into Indiana a few runs prior. So there's a lot of questions with this right now. Right now we are under a winter storm watch over most of southern Indiana. We don't have the counties controlled by NWS Wilmington under it yet, but for all practical purposes, a winter storm is coming to all of us area-wide. This will probably be upgraded to a winter storm warning at some point tomorrow. As far as snow totals go, this is what I've got out right now. I plan to make a snow total map probably late tonight, but I'm wanting to see the fresh data come in first this evening. For now, this is where I think the greatest chance of accumulating snow is going to be in the white here, and lower chances as you kind of get out of it into the blues. Now, as far as how much, I think a good solid 3 to 5 inches for many of us across the area looks like a pretty good bet with it out of this. But I'll have an official snowcast map out a little bit later, so be sure to check back with it on that. Keep it tuned to Southern Indiana Weather on Facebook and on Twitter as well. Follow me at SouthernINWX. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Thanks for watching this short update from SouthernIndianaWeather.com. We'll have more updates for you throughout the evening. Stay tuned.